In this specific video, I'm going to make use of the I2C real-time clock, and I'm going to make use of the Atmega 328P to write a program to actually set a menu up for the real-time clock. In other words, the seconds, the minutes, the hours, day, month, year. I want to program that myself and not get a value from a software program. So it must be programmed. So this is why I'm also stating here there's going to be a keypad plus the encoder. So yeah, let me get into this explanation. Just before, I just want to make one correction. As you can see in my previous video number 2, I made use of this connection. On Proteus it doesn't give a problem, but in real life it's going to give a problem. As you can see, VSS is connected here to the variable resistor, so there's a slight problem with this one. And VDD is connected to ground. It's supposed to be the other way around. So I'm just going to close this one, and if I look at the one I'm going to make use of now, this has got the correct connection. So VSS must connect to ground, and VDD must connect to plus 5 volt, and also this variable resistor must also the top section must connect to plus 5 volt. So just a correction on my previous video. It works in Proteus, but in real life you're going to get problems. Good, let me start with this one. As you can see, I'm making use of a hex keypad here, which is connected to a PIC. Now, again, I'm not going to explain what I've done here, because one of my previous videos is explaining a hex keypad together with a PIC that we're using as a keypad encoder. So, but you can look at that specific video. I've in actual fact on my Google Drive, I've given a link where you can use a 627 or a 627A or a 628 or a 628A PIC as an encoder, and you can then basically get the hex files that you can program in there if you've got a programmer. Otherwise, another method, I've also given a video. I think there were 2 videos where we take we replace this PIC with our own, with an Atmega 328P, and I've also supplied the program. The program is part of the video of what should be done to get this to that Atmega microcontroller to work as an encoder also. So you can use this PIC, but also you make use of the Atmega 328P as an encoder if that's maybe easier. As you can see, I've also connected again the real-time clock, because this is the one that we really want to program. So this is my keypad. I want to program this real-time clock from the keypad, and this is the purpose of this specific video. I've connected an LCD, as you can see here, so it's actually quite better to display the stuff. I made use of the 4-bit connection method, but let's go to the program again. Let me just quickly, here I've declared an integer as all flags, because in a previous video also I explained how I make use of flags. So just look at the video that I've given on flags. So as you can see, as part of this flags, bit number 0 is called display time, bit number 1 is called date time menu flag, and bit number 2 is actually called key pressed flag. And it says here, if bit 0 in this indicates that the real-time clock menu settings is entered. Spelling mistake there. And bit 1 indicates the date and time menu is entered. And yeah, well, the key press flag indicates that a key was pressed. So what's different from the previous one? Yes, of course, I've got all flags because I've got a keypad encoder and a keypad that is pressed. This is also 2 additional key receive and buffer are 2 additional variables. These were also in my previous video number 2. They were used. I've also added an array here containing 13 values and also a counter. Again, if I'm just going to quickly again scroll through the program so that you've got the rest of the, you've got all the data of this specific program. So up to 23 is clear there. Let me just say from 24 to 46, 47 up to 69, 70 to 92. Let me just get 93 there. There's 93 up to 115. 116 to 138, 139 to 161. Let me just get 162 in there, up to 184. 185 to 207 is fine. 208 to 230. Let me just get 231 here. There's 231 up to 253. 254 to 276. 277. Let me just get that in there. Up to 298. Definitely. Let me just get 299 up to 321 is fine. 322 up to 344, 345, down to 367, 368, right to the end. So this is the whole program if you want to go and later scroll back in the program. So as I've said before in the previous video also, I've made some videos already on the LCD display. So you can go and look at my videos on LCD, what I've explained with the LCD data, LCD, LCD command, LCD data functions, LCD initialize, go to the print, the LCD clear, variable print, etc., etc. And then also I have also explained in the previous videos of mine the real-time clock and I2C routines. So LCD, I've actually in the previous video I've described the LCD split, so I'm not going to do that again. This is the I2C write. As I've said, this was done in other videos, not the previous one, but my videos on I2C functions, I2C start I've done, I2C stop, initialize, read. In the previous video I've explained if you want to do a square wave, activate the square wave, you can also do that. So I'm not going to explain this again in this video, but it's quite easy to understand that one. I've also explained to you in the previous video the real-time clock setting and the date setting, the time and date setting. I've done that already. The get time, I've also explained that, and I have also explained the get date. So all of that was done in the previous video or some other videos depending. This one again, I've explained how this works. If a key is pressed, I jump into this interrupt service routine. There's a certain way, and again my videos show how you can actually determine what this array should look like. This is a correction array, so this is all old stuff. The only thing that's maybe new in this specific video is that all flags, key pressed flag is made a 1 if I jump in here, but we will get to that one. The rest of this section up to there has been done before. So in the main program, initialize, this is straightforward detail. I've connected the keypad. I'm not going to explain that. As I've said, I've explained that before. Here I'm activating the interrupt service routine for external interrupt 0. I2C initialized, we've done that before. How that is done, and the square wave initialization, I've also shown that in video number 2 just now. I need to activate the interrupts, so let us now get to this is now the section if I want to activate the menu. So let's just, if I go into this first if, let's see what happens. Well, display time, you'll see right at the bottom, I just want to get quickly to line 259. If I go to the top, you will see that all flags are 0. So in other words, all the bits inside it is actually 0. So 259, if I can get back to that one, it means that display time, if I'm testing in all flags and I'm testing for display time, it is 0. So basically what will happen if this thing starts up, it is going to start reading, because this program says go and read the hour, minute and seconds. But as you know by now, I haven't programmed it yet. So it will get junk and actually display a lot of junk in this specific instance, if this is the way it's set up. So it's going to continuously read and display, like I'm saying, actually junk. But as soon as I've programmed it, that's not junk anymore. Then it's got the real data. So if I go back to my Proteus design and let me stop here, and if I tell this thing to start running, this is why you will see it shows their values like 2317, 2069, because it is the junk that it's actually collecting because it hasn't been programmed yet. So what I've done is, maybe I should do that. What I've done with this program is I'm first going to demonstrate it on Proteus, and then I'm going to display or explain the program. So let's look at this. What I've done is I've said, okay, if I press a star, then I want to program the real-time clock. So if I press a star, you will see the moment that I've pressed star here, and star is actually the value of 14. If D is 13, then star 14 and hash is 15. The moment that I pressed star, it started showing at the top here. Let me try and make this a little bit bigger for you to see. Yeah, that should work. It showed you must actually add in hour. You must start typing the hour 00 to 23. So in this case, at this stage, it is now 1309. So if I type 1, you will see it places the 1 here. If I put 3, it places the 3 there. So 13 was shown for maybe a second or so. And then it says, but you must now type in the minutes. Minute 00 to 59. So my minutes, in this case, it's now 09. 0, and when I pressed 0, it showed 0 there. 9, and it shows 9 there. What are the seconds? I normally just program 00 in the seconds. So 0, it shows that 0 that I've pressed, and another 0 shows the 0 that I've pressed. Then it says, what is the day? Now, at this stage, in my case, it is the 6th of May. So the day is 06. And May, now the month, it's asking for the month, and the month is 0, and as you can see, 0 is placed there. 5 for a while, and then it disappears and say, what is the year? And all I'm going to type in here, in the year, as we've seen before in my video number 1, this thing can accept from the year 2000 actually to 2099. So I'm going to type in 20, there's the 2, and 5, there's 25, and then it's actually captured everything, and it shows 1309, and as you can see, the time is now starting to run, and it's the 6th of May 2025. This section where it's reading this is actually now from the main program as we've started off. This section that I've shown, this is the start. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. This is the start of the program. Originally, it collected junk, but after I've programmed it, it comes back to this one again, and now it's collecting the correct information and displaying the correct information. It looks like this video is going to carry on quite a while, so I think I'm going to break this up in 2 different videos then. So for now, it is good enough just to show you that this display is perfect at this stage, and I have used the keypad in order to get to these values here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video here as it is already 14 minutes. Then I will carry on in the video number 4 with a program on how I accomplish this. So see you in video number 4. Thank you.